Good evening.
I'm back again in Hum or Aap Ek Guftagu. So this evening we have Bhaswati Khaund Goswami. Besides being related to me, as in that she is my sister, we come from the same place. And keeping that aside, she is a very accomplished young lady. If I were to forget about the relationship that we have, as a lady she is very accomplished, as in writing, as in issues that she's engaged with. So she will be taking us on her journey at the place she belongs to, where she grew up, and how she has made it so far through the corridors, through the pathways that she had taken to. So she'll be sharing those interesting facets of life as she has experienced and enjoyed till this date, and as she moves on ahead on the ways she would love to look at things and how she would love to be engaged with. So it's I hand it over to Bhaswati. It's it's her, so I'm rolling it up, and she will take the floor, and she's going to regale us with her story. And in between, of course, I would be curious enough on behalf of all my guests to just about poke her for a bit more, like always. Bhaswati, please come in.
Well, a very good evening and thank you so much. The moderator, as you must be knowing, is he is my brother. So I told him not to poke me too much and to take it easy. So yes, we share the same roots, and we belong to this tiny little village called Jaji, which is near Sibsagar in Upper Assam, which is very close to the Ahom capital. And the roots go back there. But since my father was, he worked in various areas, mostly in NEFA, Northeastern Frontier Agency, as Arunachal was then known as. Because of his postings, I have been, moving around a bit too much. Thanks to him, I was born in Shillong and then started my early education there, and then moved on to the hills of the newly formed Union Territory of Arunachal Pradesh, where I did my middle school, and then came back to Shillong again, and then onwards, I did my +2 from Calcutta, and then my graduation in history and a master's in history as well from Delhi University, where my parents settled down finally. So the journey has been been moving around the hills of Northeast throughout the country, and traveling really gives me a lot of pleasure. And it has also given me an insight, to a lot of people and their lives, and my interest, my passion is still, it's connecting, probably because of the background. I love connecting with people from all areas of life. And whenever I travel, I like to notice, I like to observe the way people live, their perspective on various issues, and tiny little bits which really fascinate me, because over and above all, I think all of us share the same space. We have the same passion. We like the same things. So basically, there is a lot of unity in diversity. And basically, I have done history, but I am far removed from history now because I have got into the social sector.
Wonderful. The best thing is if you could dwell a bit on the days in Shillong. Shillong,
Yeah,
as in during those times, which
yeah,
of course is quite different than how it looks and how it is right now. So there was something, there was something different about the place as in then, and about the schools, about the institutions. So if you could mention about your schooling out there, as far as I remember, it was in Pine Mount. So if you could
yeah.
talk about that wonderful little place where most of the ladies from Northeast, they were groomed and they went through it, and they came out as wonderful human beings. And so if you could dwell on that about your school, that would
Yeah.
be nice.
Shillong, I would talk about the mid 70s, early 70s, mid 70s. I started my
Yes,
school
yes,
in mid 70s. Pine Mount was, you see, Shillong then was famous for its schools.
exactly.
Thanks to the, Britishers,
Yes, it was.
and there were some very good schools in Shillong, and people from all over. You from Bangladesh,
Yes,
as East Pakistan was,
yes, yes.
and then Nepal, neighboring
Right.
countries had, sent.
In fact, during those days and much earlier, and to well into the 70s, all the let's say the landed gentry, as they
Mm,
were from neighboring states and Bangladesh, Nepal, as you mentioned, they used to have their sons or daughters, and they used to send them
absolutely.
across to Shillong. Shillong, the institutions, they have a big sizable alumni from people across the neighboring states and country. Please carry on.
Absolutely. So, and moreover, that was the capital of,
Yes,
Assam then,
Assam, undivided Assam.
yeah, undivided Assam.
Yes,
So it was a very cosmopolitan little township,
true,
very westernized, very ahead of
absolutely,
its time. You
much
see,
ahead.
it was called the fashion capital. The ladies had their own little clubs. They knew, people wouldn't wear sweaters bought ready-made. They were all homemade by the
Yes,
mothers, the
yes, yes,
sisters. Baking cake was something. It was a given, and little Christmas parties, choirs, carols. Every neighborhood had a church,
yes,
and it was very westernized. And then I think fashion after Calcutta and Delhi, I think it was Shillong, and it still is the musical capital. So and people, there was a lot of bonding. You see, Shillong, everyone was the same. I mean, you didn't. There was a kind of unity amongst people there. I mean, the vision was it was a very broad vision.
it
There were
was.
no narrow divides, and so it was, as I said, much ahead of its time. And thanks to our education, I mean, we could even as a kid, we were influenced by what we were taught. The music, grooming, personal grooming, music, games, and then pronunciation, diction. And then we were given little patches of, you see, kitchen gardens. So, the love for nature. Children were taken for walks, for treks, and things which were not very common in the plains. These were some of the things we were taught. And that bonding, that there was so much variety. In spite of that, you could mix up with a lot of people.
Yes, yes,
That variety, I mean, it does make a difference.
yes,
When you're
yes.
growing up, you learn to mix up with a lot of people. You don't want to be confined to just one community.
Ah, In fact, uh, besides during those days, at that point in time, besides Calcutta, as it was, I still call it
Mm,
Calcutta. So
mm.
besides
I call it
Calcutta,
Calcutta too.
yes. So besides Calcutta, Shillong, of all the places, there are a number of hill stations all across, many a hill station across the country. Courtesy the Britishers, the Raj. Okay, they are the
Mm.
ones who built them. Okay, but if you look at it, Shillong is the only place which was cosmopolitan in character. It was like
Absolutely.
you had the localites, the local people, the Khasis, the Jaintias, the Garos, the local tribes. You had a sizable Assamese population, sizable Bengali population, Anglo-Indians, and you name it. I mean, it was a mix and match.
It was a
North. I
melting
mean,
pot.
people from North,
Mm.
sizable Sindhi, Punjabi population,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
this, I don't think it is anywhere else in the hills in the country. I mean,
In the
I think I
country.
can make a sweeping statement of that.
No,
It
in the
it
country.
it is absolutely it still exists, but
Mm.
of course times have changed in lesser. But then it had a different feel, and each one of them they contributed towards well, let's say the beauty of the place, and it was very progressive,
You
way ahead
learn
of its
to
time.
you learn to appreciate nature. You know,
Yes,
each the homes. I mean, there were the beautiful Assam type
yes, lovely
houses
cottages.
with,
Yes,
the typical thing with lace curtains, and then flower beds, a
yes,
kitchen garden.
and there used to be hedges, not wall,
Absolutely,
those
absolutely.
days.
And everyone did it themselves.
Yes, it was wonderful, wonderful,
That sense
lovely.
of
So in a way, I would say you were quite lucky to have been there during that point in time,
absolutely,
to have grown up at a
absolutely.
place which has taken you, I mean, ahead, forward, and contributed much at the elementary level. Now, after Shillong, of course, that since your father, my uncle, he was in the services in part of the administration, one of the oldest, you can say, hands who worked in deep corners of the northeast, of Nepal, of Mizoram, of Meghalaya. So, and the best part of it was that he had a natural flair to connect. I mean, when I look back, uh, it's his ability to connect. I mean, that was something that, in a very small way, I could imbibe, I could inculcate. So uh, he was fantastic on that. I mean, how to connect with people, and I think to a large extent that has rubbed on to you as well. And later on, of course, after Shillong, you carried on. Then you came down to Calcutta. You did your 2 years in Calcutta. Then, of course, you moved to Delhi. Okay. So tell us something about after you left Northeast. For that brief period, you left Northeast. You came down to Calcutta. You spent about 2 years. Those were the days when we were there. And after that, you moved ahead, further ahead. Huh? Because there is somewhat, what I feel is there's somewhat something very common between Shillong and Calcutta, whether it is music, whether it is the use of slangs, whether it is whatever you call it, the way people talk about, the way people carry on. There's something common somewhere. And we often, it used to be so that guys from Calcutta used to go to Shillong for the sake of music, and Shillong guys used to come down to Park Street and play. Low Majo was
Hmm,
one of the first ones
hmm,
to come down and play at Trinkas and Blue
hmm,
Fox and whatever those places. That, of course, those are non-functional now, but I'm talking about that period. So
hmm.
tell us, after you came out of Northeast and you came down to Calcutta, and for a brief period, of course. So if you could, a few anecdotes or whatever. if you
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. Another thing very common to Shillong and Calcutta is the food.
The food, yes, certainly.
Food,
The food, absolutely,
especially Chinese.
absolutely, absolutely. The food,
You,
yes.
you, that was something really to look forward to.
Yes, yes, very much,
Yeah.
very much.
So Calcutta was, yeah, a bit of a shock initially. I mean, coming from those small towns, you're exposed to, you know, big wide roads, huge buildings. But then slowly, I mean, boarding life, that was where I was something I began to enjoy. And there again in Calcutta, there's a new lot of friends to be made and a lot more people to connect, new culture, got exposed to, say, Robindra Sangeet, and music again is a big thing in
It is.
Calcutta. And food, music, and then we would go out exploring the place during weekends, and then sometimes I would go and visit you. But yes, and then I thought, I mean, I should move more.
Yes.
So that one issue was I had to score well to get into a big, decent Delhi University college. I mean, so the competition was stiff. So that was one issue at the back of my mind, that I got to do well to be able to move forward. And the stars were lucky. So I did fairly well. And then I moved on to Delhi. And Delhi was, again, you know, a step ahead.
A different experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then when I, you know, traveling by buses, that was one experience. In fact, I remember the first month of my getting admission into IP college, and we were staying in, Lutyens, Delhi, there in Murti.
I remember the bungalow.
Yeah, for a temporary period till our home was ready. And then a cousin of mine, he briefed me about, you know, traveling in the Mudrika. Mudrika are the buses which circle around the ring road. So I had to basically change 2 buses and then move on to a third to reach my college. So the first day somehow I managed, and the second day, I mean, I had to go to the Central Secretariat and take another bus, and I was running late. What happened was, I almost, the buses don't stop there, you see, they just slow down a bit. That was new to me. And I thought, let me get down, let me try it. And I just moved out. I just jumped out of the running bus and I fell down. I didn't know what happened. And then the next minute, I realized there's a huge Sardarji who just appeared from nowhere. And then he just picked me up. He said, "Ab mar jate." And, you know, I really didn't know what happened. I went, I sat down at the bus stop for some time. I cooled down. And of course, I missed my classes that day. And I never told my parents about it because they would have been shocked. And I told my classmates, and they said, you could have really killed yourself. I think this is the second lease of life that I've got. And now I know that I got to ask the driver to stop for me and then get down. But Delhi being Delhi, you have to, you know, you have to go with the time. I mean, how it moves, you have to get used to it. And then later on, I became an expert in moving around in a mood.
The hard way. The thing is, well, Delhi has its own charm. The
Absolutely.
If
you ask me, Delhi would still be my favorite.
No, Delhi has its own charm. But the Delhi that I like is around Ring Road, not beyond Ring Road. I mean, not beyond that. So it is from Ring Road as you circle in and you move up Daryaganj and Civil Lines and you come back. So that is a Delhi I really love.
Absolutely.
I have very fond
That's where
memories.
all history is.
It's all history. And I have very fond memories and from my college days and later on. In fact, I'll come to that. Let me not digress. But yes, you have to be Delhi. It is like this that you have to be
It
assertive.
teaches you. It
It
teaches you a
teaches you.
lot.
It teaches you to survive,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
you have to be assertive, and that's about the place. But it
You
has
know,
its own charm, and I still recall
it toughens you up.
it does because you see. Well, that's how under any weather it really toughens you up because you have to survive under any weather, any season. So that's about the place. But as I said, of course, now even from the time that you all were in there,
Hmm.
today it is quite different, and it has grown way beyond the frontiers and the city. It has become a state, and it's way beyond. And but still, that circle within Ring Road and the areas, I mean, it is still as the way it used to be. The charm is still there. The stories are there. The humor is there. The people absolutely in their own place. So nothing much has changed on that. Incidentally, as you know, that my younger daughter is from your college, and
Hmm.
she has finished her she has appeared for her finals, and she's awaiting her results, and she'll carry on again ahead after you. So after you, the next generation. Okay, so in a way you
Absolutely.
can say that on the same footsteps.
Hmm.
So now fine. After that, Delhi. Then again, you came back. You got engaged. You went the family way, and much after that, you were back again, and you took up various assignments. Primarily, it was centered around your writing, which you do off and on, and this has led you to different places with people to connect with. And now today you are looking after um this what do you call it, Center for Northeast Studies. Now,
But it's a
very
very
few people
long.
actually know
Ah,
that about this thing called boat clinic. So before we end, if you could let us know, let everybody know about this thing called boat clinic and how it is impacting and bringing in a change uh, to people in remote areas, not not given to the basics of medical care, and that you're trying to impact that kind of people, those who are there far flung, remote, um, not known to many.
okay. Uh, the Center for Northeast Studies and Policy Research. I have been very closely involved with the organization since 2008. Prior to that, I was freelancing. My kids were small, and the time was just right for me to get into something full time. And then when I got this opening, I was very happy to join the social sector because I think each little drop counts in a country such as ours, and where bridging the gap is so important. And so this CNES, Center for Northeast Studies and Policy Research, this is an organization formed in the year 2000 by a noted writer journalist Sanjay Hazarika, and GK Pillai is the chairman of the board of trustees, and we work in a number of areas: health, governance, livelihood, gender. But it is this flagship program of ours, which, as you said, the boat clinics, which has been acclaimed globally for its outreach and innovation. So we started with a World Bank Award in the year 2005 when the prototype of this boat called AHA, which is Asha, hope, ship of hope in a valley of floods. Assam is a valley of floods. So the prototype won a World Bank Award of 20,000 US dollars. And the first boat was built in Dibrugarh. And Dibrugarh was our Karma Bhumi. That is where we started our work with one boat in 2005. And 2008, we entered into a partnership with the government's National Health Mission. And the partnership still continues. And from one boat and one district in 2005, and we have continuously upscaled. And today we have 15 boat clinics. We work in 14 districts. Borpeta has 2 units of the boat clinic because it's a huge population to cater to. And we are a staff of about 250. I manage the communications part of it and the website and PR and fundraising. So basically, this is reaching the last mile. Reaching the last mile. These people, there are about 2,500 such islands called Chors in Lower Assam or Sapori in Upper Assam. So these river islands, I mean, since independence, I think the boats have been the first of its kind of service that these people have got. And till today, I mean, till our boats came in, most of them had not even seen an injection. They didn't know what a doctor was. And we've had so many, very touching anecdotes of people coming to see what the boat clinic was all about. Doctor was. So, I mean, this is extremely, now when our camps are held, initially there was a lot of hostility. They thought it was one of those typical government programs, do a survey and go back. So they were very skeptical. But right now, I mean, they have come to trust, our teams. They come with queries, not just on health, but on a lot of other issues. So we have moved beyond health also. What we do is basically, our focus group is mother and child because Assam has, has the highest maternal mortality and infant mortality rate in the country.
Yes.
Sadly so. So the goal is to work together with the government to improve this, very sorry picture. But we cater to whoever comes with any kind of, health problems. These are basic health checkups, immunization, antenatal checkups, postnatal checkups, and so the most important part is the preventive aspect of health, the awareness building,
Right.
telling people about those little things they can do to promote health, like wearing footwear, having a nutritious diet made of locally available vegetables or fruits or whatever is there, instead of buying something very expensive which they cannot afford. And cleanliness, personal hygiene, talking about government schemes. We also have the first community radio, a community radio station in Dibrugarh, which is called Radio Brahmaputra. Very, very popular amongst people living in the, tea garden, mainland villages, and also the island villages, covering Dibrugarh, Dhemaji, and Tinsukia.
Wonderful.
So these are all, you see, community related work. What we believe in is handholding the community and then, uh, giving it to them, their space to develop it,
Right.
raise awareness, and then let them do it themselves.
Correct.
That is the way forward.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So amidst all of this that you are occupied with, you are engaged, what is it that you fall back on end of the day? Is it music? Is it food? Is it you know, what is it that kind of how do I put it, that sort of, well, it's not the right word though, but I would say de-stress. Okay, so how do you do that end of it, and how do you carry on?
Okay.
What are the things that you love doing? Whether it could be gardening, it could be, it could be doing your place, it could be about food, it could be about music, it could be just about anything. So what do you do at the end of the day? How do you keep, or maybe weekends, and do you like long drives, or do you wish to get out of the city pent and come back rejuvenated? So what is it, and how do you keep yourself active? And how you complement, basically. What I'm trying to say is, how do you complement yourself?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a jack of all trades, so as to say, but de-stress at the end of the day is uh, with my four-legged son, Ziggy. I am an animal lover. The dogs, I really care for them. I mean, street dogs. Delhi, even as a student, I would, pick up stray dogs.
Yeah, that
And
I remember.
yeah, so I'm very, very passionate about, their cause. And then I come back and I can just spend hours with him, just him and me
Lovely.
alone. So
Lovely.
and then I'm very fond of gardening. I love to dirty my hands. I love the touch of the earth, so as to say. And it teaches us to connect. It's so important to know, just you plant a seed and then you see it grow, and it's a very fulfilling experience.
It
It's a
is.
different
It
experience.
is. It is.
You plant something and then you have these the fruits coming, and then in fact I just was successful in growing my first dragon fruits this time. So I
Okay.
had three of them coming up.
Okay.
So weekends, Saturdays, I am the mali at home. I am a gardener. You will not find me inside. I am there outside. And then, of course, I de-stress. I love music. I absolutely, so the Shillong thing, I think it's the
That's
Shillong.
Shillong.
My
Yeah.
brother, I think
No,
music
that's
is
there. Your
in
brother
our
is there.
DNA. Yeah, then my husband
Even
is
even even
also,
even
my
even your
sons,
husband.
my sons are, both musicians too.
Yes.
They like playing the guitar. They're self-taught.
Hmm.
And I love writing. I love writing, and I have, I am educating two little girls. That's something, I think, you know, people who have been fortunate enough, I think in a country like ours, we should each do our bit for people who are not so privileged. I have two little girls staying with me. Their mothers help me, and then I'm trying to educate them as far as I can. Uh, I think that's for each one of us to do our bit. And when I see
Wonderful.
them writing something, when they come and show me, their skills on, be it dancing, be it singing, so I have my hands full. So they want to
Lovely.
kind of show what they've learned end of the
So
day.
it's wonderful, and the way you are going about, the way you are carrying yourself. Uh, well,
I think life
in
is
my own way,
beautiful.
i-
It's a
in my,
very
yeah, it's wonderful, as I said.
it's
So
wonderful.
in my own way, well, let me put it this, let me put it across that, okay, you do make me proud, and the way
Oh,
you are going about it.
I think
So
it's
please carry on,
mutual.
much more, way to go, much more ahead, and keep well, carry on with your good work, enjoy life, enjoy music, do your gardening, lots of flowers, whatever, and do keep in touch. And
Surely.
we meet up ahead. And as for the family, the one that I have introduced you to, there are a lot of interesting people around to connect and
Wonderful.
carry on and share the stories and move ahead. So it's a wonderful family. So we will carry on. So that's how I would wish to sum it up. It was lovely. Uh,
Lovely.
getting
Yes.
getting
Same
to
here.
chat after quite
Yeah.
some time and for the first time in the group. So that's about it. Do carry on and with full vigor. And we wish you well. We wish you success. We wish you all good things. Carry on,
Thank
please.
you so much for having me over. Thank you.
Pleasure. Pleasure. Yes.